Los Angeles County is home to more than 10 million residents, with 60,000 experiencing homelessness. In northern LA County, 1 in 4 families experience homelessness and 10% are unsheltered. Homelessness is linked to behavioral, developmental, emotional, and health challenges for children.
My assembly district is located in the northeast San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles. It has a high percentage of low-income families, which unfortunately as a result also has a high percentage of families and children experiencing homelessness. Most of these families with children, they're not living in tents on the street or in homeless encampments necessarily, but they're living in their cars, in motels, and in other housing that is unstable. So I can't imagine being a child and not knowing where I'm going to sleep that night and still having to go to school. Access to childcare is critical for children experiencing homelessness. It helps families have a safe place for their child to spend the day, have 3 meals, continue to learn. And for some children, this is their only stability. If they're in a home-based daycare, it's probably their only home, right? So if they sleep in a car or if they're living in a shelter, they still get that family feel in their day.
Studies find housing, employment, transportation, childcare, healthcare, and social support to be the most pressing needs of families experiencing homelessness.
I have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. We started experiencing homelessness over 3 years now it's been. I was evicted from my home in Palmdale. We couldn't afford the rent, so we lost our home. And from then on, I was living in motels, just trying to find a refuge, a place to stay. There were nights where we had to see if we were able to stay anywhere because it's pretty scary when you don't know where you're going the next day. Mm-hmm. I had to pile my car up with certain things and just keep it in my car. So it was pretty hard. Each day, we'd have to just think about what was going to happen or where we were going to head. So, changing schools for my children is another thing that kind of affects when you're homeless because your children got to keep moving from one place to another. So, and the grades end up failing or they go down because you're not stable. So my kids basically, like I say, lived a life in motels, Motel 6, different motels daily. It was hard to provide for them. There were times I'd have to get help for food or my sister friend would help me when she could. Childcare has helped me by helping my children socialize with others, like my youngest, who adapts now with other children. And it helps them learn more skills. And my oldest two, it helps them by helping them, I believe, study better and just realizing that there's someone there to be there for them is really important to me. To know that there's someone there that cares and will help guide them as well, because that's how I see the childcare for my oldest two. Childcare has helped me with being able to find work and also go on interviews. As of right now, I'm unemployed, but I have been able to go and interview for 2 companies. Today I'm going out to interview for more, so that's the benefit I feel that it's giving me. And to know that, once again, that they're there for you and they can assist you, or if any other assistance you need with that, they'll be there for you.
Families experiencing homelessness face multiple barriers to childcare, including fear and lack of trust, transportation, knowledge of resources, access to subsidies, cost, hours of care, available enrollment, and stigma around children who experienced trauma.
I work for Childcare Resource Center. I'm on the Family Assessment and Orientation team, so we do most of the intake for this program, or for these programs, and we go out to LA Family Housing once a week just to try to not only bring awareness about the program to that community, but also to see if we can try to help enroll families that are in need of childcare services. The major issue for them is seeking permanent housing. But there's a lot that leads to being able to find permanent housing. You know, childcare needs to be secured so that you are able to go out there and and find a place to live. Not only that, you need to find employment so you can pay for that place to live. So so the families that I'm seeing, they just need a little bit more help because they're trying to do what is best for their child and their family, but sometimes they have nowhere to start from. So these services are, at least helping them to find stable and safe environments for their children while they figure out the rest. A common trend is that I do see a lot of single mothers. Oftentimes they have left situations that are less than desirable. Domestic violence, sometimes they're evicted. I met with some families that they were employed and then illness happened or another child happened. A parent exited the household and that just threw their world in disarray. They were not able to go to work because they then had to choose between, do I go to work and pay for childcare, which costs almost as much or more than what I'm bringing in from employment, or do I stay home and watch my child? When you do that, then you're unable to pay your rent. And then it's just a domino effect where, one thing can cause a series of events that lead you to experiencing homelessness. If I had a magic wand, I definitely think that there needs to be more funding for not just early education, which I know is the focus right now, but for childcare, because some children are not of the age to have access to these early education programs. So these families are struggling to figure out what to do with their children before they reach school age or even preschool age, where they could possibly be helped through the Head Start program. So I definitely think that additional funding, more funding, is needed in order to address this crisis, because more and more families are ending up being homeless, and from once you're there, it's hard to get out of that. Housing prices have skyrocketed. Rent is almost the same as what it costs for childcare, if not a little more. So how do you decide between both? So definitely more funding for housing. For stable housing, more funding for childcare, more navigators, so more caseworkers that can get in there and work directly with these families to try to help them secure these services.
In California, we have identified over 200,000 children that are experiencing homelessness. That's 200,000 too many. That doesn't include the children that are 0 to 5, that are going to daycare every day. We have no idea how many children 0 to 5 are homeless. We can't wait. This is an urgent issue that our state must provide resources for.